as were the other members of the Owen Sound contingent, that a motion was made. I am a little surprised, amongst all the surprises with this, of the mayor of Georgian Bluffs, however, and his request for a meeting. It was his own councillor that made the motion to close the library on Monday. So I think if the mayor of Georgian Bluffs wants some information about why the library is closing on Monday, he might want to ask his own council members, not the chair of the board who voted against closing on Mondays, or myself, or the one other Owen Sound rep that was at the meeting. I don't know what else to tell council. There was a report. It would certainly have been my desire and wish, but my motions seem to have been defeated several times at the board, that the library spend some time explaining to the public why such an action might be needed. There was a 12-point report. My recommendation was that we do all the other 11 things in the report and hold off closing on Monday until after, at the very least, all of the councils had been through their budget deliberations. But that was not the motion that was put forward by a councillor from Georgian Bluffs, and it was not the motion that was carried by the majority of the board. I don't know what else to say. I was opposed to that. I know that if Councillor Chamberlain had been able to make that meeting, she would have also voted against it, but it wouldn't have changed the outcome. It would have simply been 5-4 instead of 5-3. The board's made a decision. If we can somehow get the board to reconsider the decision, but the townships were very adamant that they were not interested in adding any more staff at all, or even considering it, or even having it brought to their council's attention. And if closing on Mondays was a way of avoiding any suggestion of staff increases, that was what they were going to do, and they did it at our meeting in June. I'm not sure that it was suspicious. I think that they have a very different view of the library than we do here in the city. That was quite apparent to me, actually, during the course of the meeting, that they have a very different view than we do. It's a partnership. I don't know if every time your partner does something you don't like, you call them names and call them suspicious and weak and all of these things. I'm not sure that's the best way to move forward with in a partnership, but you know, we debated for 2 hours. I debated against this for 2 hours. At the end of the night, to my surprise, motion was carried. As soon as I got home, I got on the computer and emailed council and said, this is what happened 20 minutes ago, so that you wouldn't read it or hear it in the radio before. So I don't know what else to tell council. I think that it was a premature, at the very least, decision by the board. All of the councils needed, I felt, to have at least one go through the budget deliberation with this concept and idea being out there, but the townships seem to believe that there was an urgency in correcting what has been a long-standing issue at the library, which is understaffing or over-houring, or some combination thereof. It just was a shock to me that June. I even said at the meeting, you know, we can always close it in September if we want to do that. The motion was made by the board. It's an autonomous board. We can ask them to reconvene. I don't know. It was a decision that was made, and as I said, it certainly was quite clear to me that their view of the library is a little different than ours. So it was very premature on the part of the board, I thought.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. That request will go out first thing tomorrow morning. And thank you, Councillor Twaddle, for bringing that forward. Thank you to Councillor Adair for notifying all members of council immediately following that meeting. It was one of those things that sort of hit you between the eyes. And when I had absolutely no background information at all. So when the media contacted for a comment, the comment was very evasive in terms of, A, I couldn't quite believe it, but B, I thought perhaps there may be some real savings that were being realized, and to give the board certainly the benefit of the doubt in making business decisions for the organization, for the library. It defies logic to me why you would close something and not realize any significant savings. That I don't understand, and I question the motives behind this decision. Councillor McManaman?
Thank you, Worship. I'd move a subsequent motion that we immediately set up a meeting with council, our board reps, and the chief librarian to go over these reports, and if possible, formulate have them presented to us first of all, and then secondly, if possible, formulate a city position on the issue or issues.
Okay, the motion, Councillor Lemon.
I certainly agree with the intent of this, but I would like to have part of the meeting with just council afterwards to decide our decision, because or our position that we're going to bring forward. But that could be part of the meeting depending on how it flows.
I think it's an autonomous board, so I'm not sure we could formulate a position. I suppose if the 5 members of the board chose a position that's in direct opposition to what council wishes, that's another matter to be dealt with after. I think let's see how the meeting turns out.
All right,
and then,
that's fine.
You know,
Let's get the meeting.
right. Let's get the meeting.
Sooner rather than later.
That's right. All those in favor?
I'd say as soon as possible.
Yes. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. That request also will go out first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you. Councillor Twaddle, was there another item that you had? No? Okay. Councillor Boddy.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is 2 parts. With apologies to the clerk, we had our meeting of the Downtown Parking Ad Hoc Committee this past Wednesday, and we did not get our minutes into the clerk in time to be on the regular agenda showing up in all the council's packages earlier. There are a couple of things that, or one main thing that kind of hangs over this committee, and that is the fact that council has requested that the Director of Finance provide a report on parking meters and ticket spitters, etc. That needs to be decided very quickly. It will come to council. As a result of that, the Downtown Parking Ad Hoc Committee wanted to proceed as quickly as possible. In our minutes that we're asking council to pass tonight, we are asking council to agree to set the committee at the 3 council members as well as 3 appointees from the DIA. Not including public members, because this would require advertising and the process to go through to appoint public members, and we don't believe we have time to do that. More specifically, we want to set the mandate to study and present a plan to council for complementary parking downtown following the City of Brock model. Provides a self-supporting utility that is fair and equitable without impact or additional cost to the general tax base of the City of Owen Sound. This is basically what Councillor Lemon's report had been the week. And we want to keep the focus quite narrow so that we can get through it as quickly as possible. We plan to meet this Wednesday, the 11th, as well as next Wednesday, the 18th, so we can have a report back to council at our next meeting on July 23rd. So that's my first motion then is that council accept and approve the minutes and the recommendations made in the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
The second part is for us to be able to consider the Brockville plan, the Brockville model, we need a report from the Director of Finance to be provided to the committee that we can oversee the numbers. So my motion is to ask staff for a financial report on this specific model.
All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Wish all the best of luck to the three councillors who stepped forward for this ad hoc committee. It's good to see such a focused mandate as well and a short timeline. Moving along, Councillor Lemon.
Yes, Your Worship. This week is the celebration of the 100th anniversary of Harrison Park. It's becoming part of the city on July 12th. It starts off with a concert in the park and the celebration on the actual 12th, July the 12th, when the actual transfer took place a century ago. On the Friday night, there of course is the movies at the park, which is an ongoing feature. And then Saturday, there is the picnic. And it is going to be a blast and a half. We've had more groups and organizations come forward than I ever thought was going to happen, more than we optimistically expected, and it's just going to be great. There's going to be everything from ladies roller derby to antique cars to dogs to all kinds of music. I think at last count, and Jan can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 6 or 7 groups are going to be playing on Saturday at various parts of the park. There's just going to be something for everyone, and it's going to be a great time. One of the problem we do have with Harrison Park is the lack of parking. And one of the ways around this is there will be a shuttle which will be in continuous loop to the park, and it will go to the following parking lots. It will start off at 10 a.m. at the Visitor Information Center and then pick up in the parking lots on 3rd Avenue East, the one behind, we used to call it the after drugstore, the one I call the National Grocers parking lot across from
Across from the professional building.
Professional building. And then we'll go to the Scotia parking lot. And then there are 2 parking lots on 1st Avenue East, which are between 7th and 8th, and it will pick up from those 2 and then head to the park with the first load and then come back and pick up more people. And we encourage people to either bike, walk, canoe, swim, I guess if you wanted to, although it'd be a long swim if you live downtown, to the park, and certainly use the shuttle because this is being donated to the celebration by the Miller Group, and we really appreciate the support of the Owen Sound Transit Group. Not that I was trying to promote it, I was just giving information. But just remember the 2 parking lots on 3rd Avenue East between 8th and 9th and 9th and 10th, and then the 2 parking lots on 1st Avenue East between 7th and 8th and the Visitor Information Center. Those are the pickup points, and of course the shuttle bus will also bring you back. I got asked that question. I said, yes, you can come back, but it's going to be a glorious day. Bring a picnic basket, or you can get food at the park and have a wee of a time. I don't have any glasses for that event.
We might need glasses on Saturday. We'll have a beautiful sunny day by the looks of the long-range forecast. Now, of course, my weather forecasting is not so good, so maybe I should just leave that up to the weather station. But no, congratulations to the councillors involved in bringing this together and to staff for the number of meetings and organization. Pardon me? Richard McDonald is sitting in the back of the room being very quiet. And thank you very much to Richard for his involvement in the Friends of Harrison Park group and putting on this great event this weekend. I understand also that there's a bit of a time machine that has been conjured up, and there's a historic member of the royal family, I understand, that's going to be making an appearance in the flotilla. And I'm rather, I have to brush up on perhaps my Victorian etiquette. So congratulations. We'll see everybody at the park this weekend, I'm sure. Thank you. Councillor Chamberlain.
Well, my topic was kind of just what you led into. Mine was the Unique River event, which is called the Flotilla. And I just thought for those people who needed to swim, or else come in a canoe or a kayak or a skiff or something, that they could make it to the park the best way possible. But I wanted the people at home to know that this is turned out to be a really nice event for us with lots of enthusiasm for it. The northeast entrance of the park, which is off of 5th Street East, it's actually an easier place to launch your boats. A lot of people are launching at the mill dam, but it might be a little easier for some people if they want to use that other place. And each way we'll be trying to keep all of the boats behind the lead boat, which would have our mayor and the Queen in it. So we hope that that will work itself out. But I just wanted to say this is kind of a first time for Owen Sound to have a flotilla that we know of, and a decorated one at that. So the place to watch it, if you, it's pretty hard to see things from our river because of all the private property, but possibly watching from the first part of Harrison Park as they come in, and when they arrive, then they will be greeted by the pipers, and we'll have a neat morning happening. So that was what I wanted to talk about. Thank you.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It really does.
Have you practiced your wave yet?
Yes, I'm working on it. Something about a light bulb. Thank you. Councillor Purdon.
I think the motion that I had is being addressed by the clerk. That's it. Oh, that's it. Okay, good. This is a recommendation that in consideration of the report extension agreement dated July 9th, that we execute an extension agreement with respect to tax arrears collection.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Before I go to the clerk for your additional item, I would just like to draw council's attention to, and the media. There's been an awful lot of discussion in the media lately around soup kitchens and issues surrounding poverty in our community, and that the city perhaps has seemed somewhat quiet in response to that. I can assure you that that this council is not being quiet. What I do need to make very clear is that Grey County is the social services provider. Grey County provides social services to and for the community. Your representation at Grey County is, from Owen Sound, is myself and City County Councillor Arlene Wright. I sit on as an active member of the Social Services Committee at the County of Grey. We have been working with a number of agencies that have expressed sincere interest in learning more about a collaborative approach to address not only the tyranny of poverty, but also the issues that are so complex that affect all of us in this community. There is a model that's been demonstrated to be very successful, that's 30 years old. It is being successfully executed in the community of Woodstock. Arrangements are being made to travel to Woodstock to meet with the individuals with an organization called Operation Sharing. It's a very exciting organization. As I said, they've been operating for 30 years. There are 45 churches that are involved in not only the funding, but the operation and the ongoing sustainability. I would say 30 years is a pretty good example of sustainability. So it's a very elaborate approach. It's been done before. We're not suggesting that, that this community reinvent the wheel. We are suggesting that those individuals who are stepping forward wanting to provide service for our community, for those in poverty in our community, come to the table and have a collaborative approach to this rather than going madly off in all directions and having very little sustainability. So I wanted to bring that, quite frankly, up to council's attention as well as to the community, that while it's not on the agenda of this council per se, that this council is very concerned, that this council is listening, and that we have a wonderfully generous and supportive community here. And we have a lot of different groups in the community that we reach out to and we need to look after. And all those people and all the people that live in Owen Sound are included in that. Having said that, I will move along now to the clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. My additional item is a bylaw related to the motion just moved by Councillor Purdon, and it will be addressed in the motion to adopt tonight's bylaws by Councillor Chamberlain. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion of the committee rise, please. Thank you, Councillor Dare. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. We're now in regular council. Could I have a resolution, please, Councillor Chamberlain, adopting the proceedings in committee of the whole?
By myself, seconded by Councillor Purdon, that the action taken in Committee of the Whole in considering public meetings, deputations, public question period, matters arising from correspondence, reports, matters tabled, motions for which notice was previously given, and other business be hereby confirmed by this council.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. Notices of motion, please.
By myself, seconded by Colin.
No. Are there any notices of motion? No, are there any notices of motion? Okay. And now new business by resolution, and now bylaws.
By myself, seconded by Councillor Purdon, that bylaw number 2012-111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121 be hereby passed and enacted.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried, and we're now adjourned. Have a good evening.
Well, I felt so bad.